Money man.
I'm a money man. In where I work, people sort of see me anything to do with money. I'm one of the sort of go-to people. So I definitely know the power of money. I've become very well aware of how to use it, what type of money, because money comes in all types of shapes and forms. It can come in the form of debt. It can come in the form of equity for a finance person. It comes in different shapes and sizes. But what I remember when in my early days working in a very big organization, money used to just be a simple number to me. I would be talking about transactions in billions of dollars and millions of dollars and so on, and it didn't just felt like a number to me. And then you now mention that same number to someone else outside of that environment, and you can be having a conversation with someone, and the driver in the car can hear what you're talking about, and just he's never heard of and seen things like that. And it's never as though I ever saw that money in front of me. But what that helped me to understand is that, look, money is a very powerful tool, and you can use it in lots of different ways, and it can have an impact on people's lives, and it can do certain things. So, when it comes to the question that you were asked, what I want to focus on is the misconceptions of money.
I was actually going there next. Literally, what are the misconceptions of money?
But let's talk about the conceptions of money first. Like, what is good about money? I think that's, you guys, money is good first. Money is needed. Money is a tool. Money can do a lot of things. Like, trust me, it can do a lot of things. Money can help you pray less in some aspects.
Is that therefore good?
No. It's good because you pray right. You pray right. You don't pray just to ask and ask. You pray to love and relate and all that. But so I think we should also solidify that money is not that bad. Uncle, money is okay.
It's not. Don't get me wrong. I don't think money is a bad thing. In fact, it's a very good thing if you use it properly.
Can I ask a question? In your time with the big financial company, did you have a figure in your head that if you got, you will sell out?
Do you have a figure in your head now?
I'm just trying to calculate it. What is worth selling my soul? Okay, let me answer that question this way. So, to be honest, growing up, I don't think that, and I won't say that I could afford everything or my parents could afford everything, because I knew very much that they couldn't. But one thing is that I also learned is that, and I realized that there's nothing I really ever lacked, right?
Okay.
So money may have been there, may not have been there, but I never really felt that, I need to struggle for this thing. So the very first thing is, I think that the way I was taught about money growing up was that money is just a tool, right? It was never something that obviously there are a lot of people that will have more money or less money than you, but I never used to compare anything on the basis of money. So at first you isolate that in your mind that money is just a tool, right? So when you understand that, you realize that it's a tool. So when you're going around your personal finances, for example, I never really used to set a goal in my mind about what I would get to sell out, because when you sell out, what do you then do at that point? You have money, and then what, right?
You buy.
You buy.
And then
Buy. So what?
And so essentially your capital is going to erode over time. Maybe even not in your own generation, because it's such a large sum of money, but it will erode over time. So I think that you have to understand the value of what money can actually do, because and I think that it's also very important because it's something that you have to learn about these things from a very young age. I was reading somewhere about a marshmallow test that Stanford University did in the 60s, where they basically put children in a room, and they said, you can have one marshmallow right now, or get a prize in 20 minutes when I come back. And they left the child in the room, and they had the choice of, let me have this now, or wait 20 minutes and see what I get.
Yeah.
And they would come back into that same room and give the child either 2 marshmallows or some kind of reward, right? And I think the money is in the same, you have to think about money in the same way, because the child that takes the the marshmallow because he knows he can have one right now is probably someone that doesn't really understand the benefits of delayed gratification, right?
Yeah.
So in that test that Stanford did, they found that a lot of these children that they waited for the marshmallow, or waited 20 minutes for the person to come back into the room, were wealthier, they had better health, and so on. So like, for me, money is the same thing. So you have to understand your goals and what you want to achieve with the money before you say, when I reach this number, then I'm going to sell out, because it's not really ever that simple, right? So you need to set your goals, you need to set your ambitions and set all those things in place, and then understand, okay, what is the best strategy to do this? As someone that, and I know you're an entrepreneur, but someone that's working and living on a salary, for example, he's very able to plan
himself.
He's really able to
honestly,
plan.
He's going like, you're going PhD level, man.
That's just the way I am, by the way. So please forgive me.
Like, see, so let's go to grassroots about money. Grassroots. There's the term coined, the American dream. What is the Nigerian dream?
I don't know what it is. I can't answer that question, and I think that is for me one of the biggest problems that I have.
I actually always have this problem with
what is
politics,
the Nigerian dream?
because even if it comes down, we don't have Democratic Party or Republic. We don't have our parties. Political parties don't have set ideals.
Yeah, we don't have
So
that.
therefore, we can't be like, I'm actually voting for these people based on we have this set of
so
beliefs.
someone said that the Nigerian dream is having so much money that you must be there for every family meeting.
That's a silly comment.
But the truth is, from the core of our system, of our structure, there's something fundamentally dysfunctional about Nigeria, about the black race, about our philosophy. And I think we can change it. This generation can change it. No, or can start to change it.
Yeah.
Or can start to change it.
We'll start to
change it. We'll start to change it.
Because I do think that's the right thing. The whole together main thing is the motive behind the money.
But
Money
it's
is never the problem.
It's funny, but I keep saying this thing, that I don't think a revolution can happen in Nigeria in the sense, because I don't think there are people willing to die for Nigeria. I think, see, I'm Igbo. I'm Igbo. And I know that sometimes, thankfully I'm Christian, so that has broken all my boundaries. But I think in the true sense, I'm first an Igbo person, then maybe a Christian, before a Nigerian. That's the honest vibe. We are changing this generation, but that's the honest vibe. And with that sense of this thing, I'm selfish. Yeah. I'm selfish.
Yeah.
It's not. It might not be meritology. It is tribalism or religion first before merits and values and a person who can do the job right. Same thing with money too. Money for me is about me. First, is about what I have, my family. Someone said that when they were interviewing one of the politicians who stole, and they interviewed him, and he said that he stole for his children.
Yeah.
While I know that in America, a billionaire can give out all his money to charity, it happens. It happens.
Look at Bill Gates. It's
real. It's real.
I was reading about a Christian who donates, and he's a black man. I'm not actually sure what his name is, but every year he gives 200 million.
Do you understand? I would start from a man's perspective. They say men have three problems: either money, power, or sex. I say money can fall the other two, power and sex. So it's money. So it's money. Now, there's a guy called Simon Sinek. Do you know him? Simon Sinek. Brilliant guy.
Interesting guy.
Very interesting guy. And he wrote a book called Why Start with Why. Start with Why, about how we have to start from the end in everything we do. That made a lot of sense. But then he also said that as the world evolves, the generation Z, we are the millennials, the next Z will have fulfillment as part of their basic need So we are still in survival. They will have fulfillment as part of that basic need. I'm saying this to say that we also have to teach people that money is not the cure for contentment and fulfillment. So when people understand the end goal of life, and at the end of everything, money is so. Is money key? Money is so key. Come on, money is so key.
Of course.
It's so key.
Of course.
But in the grand scale of eternity or of life's completion, there are things that still superimpose money above money. Things that like fulfillment, like pure love, like pure love, not but love, like pure love, like joy.
Yeah.
These things count. They still count. I'll be very real with you and say that my house job was with the military hospital in Yaba. It was a painful experience for me, very painful. It was in the barracks. I've seen people die because of 1.5. I've seen people lose their life because of 1K5 or 1,000 naira. I'm serious. I remember I've seen stuff. So I've seen that life. I've seen barracks life. Like I served with them. I've seen people lose their leg and they get only 50K as yeah. So when you are soaked in suffering, money is beyond a true contentment or that. Money is all you want. You get the point?
Like you said, kind of a phase of survival, like it's a necessity.
Money is what you want. The pain here is that some people are massive of money but add no value. So you see a man that has 70 billion naira and has no staff, no value, no industry. That's the pain. No legacy. So that's for me, that's the irrational part of having money. You amass so much. So a Mark Zuckerberg has some billions, but he has helped communication globally. He has helped community globally.
Yeah.
People can attain to what money, but it has to have value to the world. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Dangote, I must say, he's adding value. The salt, he has staff, he has strength. So the problem is that some people in our generation are sending the wrong ideology.
Yeah.
That money is for you. Money is to go to Dubai and buy 40 bags. And it's real. So kids or younger people are doing Yahoo and all that because they don't understand the value, the essence of money.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy to me, just as you said that, I remember the whole idea, the thing that happened with Fowles, where he critiqued people, promoting Yahoo guys, and then the backlash to him was crazy. And it was why? How has culture gotten to this place where we're seeing this as such a negative thing?
But should I be very sincere with you? The boy on the street, I'll say it right. The boy on the street considers a Yahoo boy and a corrupt politician the same thing.
He's a big boy. Yeah,
corrupt politician, not all corrupt. The corrupt ones, the same thing. I'm using my words carefully. The same thing. So for them is make the money anyhow.
Yeah.
That's the
ends justify the means.
That's the hustle. That's the journey. That's
I actually find it interesting that you sort of say what you do, but I would actually go a step away from saying the next generation, the generation Y. I think that our generation also, the millennial also feel, because I actually found that the West have cottoned onto this fact. There's some I was reading some time ago about this. I can't remember which university it was. One of the big MBA Ivy League programs. They've started realizing that a lot of their students in the millennial generation, unlike the generation before it, that were focused on, okay, if we're going to go into business, it's about profit maximization. But they've realized that actually what the millennial generation as well also desire is what kind of impact are we having? Yeah. And they've started tailoring the way they educate to that. I think that when I started dating the girl that I'm now married to, we started dating when I was still living on my allowance, and while I was in university and so on. I wasn't working, and I lived on a budget. In fact, it was actually quite funny because my parents used to, because I used to be so bad with money. I had a phase where I just used to not know how to discipline myself with spending money. My parents had to give me my allowance twice a week, so I would never like twice a week. Wow. So I wouldn't call them after a month and say, oh, I in week one and say, oh, I've blown all of my money. So I used to so it was, and we lived in two different cities, so it was always always had to have a budget for going to see her and all of that sort of stuff. But I don't have the because I've never been one of the people that was
popping bottles.
Yeah, popping bottles and doing all that sort of stuff. So it was a very interesting dynamic for us, because I never used to like have to spend crazy amounts of money, and it actually taught me that I used to diligently. Okay, we used to. If I want to buy you this gift, I have to save this much money for this amount of time, and on all of those things. So she saw that whole hustle, and like now, we've gone way through all of that phase, and we're now we're growing together, and so actually, what I've realized is that both of us have learned about money in relationships together. When because we've gone through having no money. I remember one time we went on holiday, and by the time we got there, we realized that actually we can only have dinner like twice. And then from going from that to like where we are now, so we actually understand, and we don't have crazy expectations of each other. We have realistic expectations, because everything we get, it's for us, and it's not just for us. It's actually for we even have, like, when we budget for our, so obviously our household, our family, our daughter, but also like for philanthropical things, for donations and doing all of those things, because at the very minimum, I believe that you have to have an impact with money. So we've learnt about money together.
I've experienced different things, my brother.
No, but tell me, because I would love to hear what you've experienced, because I've not seen it, and people talk about this.
I think
matter
on both ends. So I'm not married, but I'm engaged, and on both ends, for guys and girls, they love wrong things happening. So for guys, sometimes we fake how much we have. We just live based on packaging, and then we date a girl, and the girl this guy has Louis Vuitton and Gucci. This is a Hush Puppy Junior, a mini Hush Puppy, and then and it's horrible because it's fake. Yeah, it's fake.
That only ever goes so far.
That's one. Then we have girls who have seen their father and their brother and their husband and their boyfriend in a boyfriend. They just want to build a house on your head. It's called the open office on top of your head. That kind of thing. So there's that. Then there's in the UK, for example, I know that when you buy dinner, sometimes the girl offers to
to pay. I've got this weird, and I think now
in Nigeria, I want Chapman.
That remind me of the experience I had. Remember the experience I had in New York one time, where this friend of mine and another group of friends of ours, we were in New York. My friend lived in New York, and this girl we were also friends with in university was in New York as well, and I was visiting. And I remember it was quite funny, because like he went out and I think that paid the bill for dinner and everything, and the girl in the UK, she was so annoyed. She was literally causing a ruckus over the fact that those girls that he was in dinner with didn't contribute to the bill. She didn't understand it, and I just thought, I just sat back and I just thought, oh my god.
I've experienced in university. I asked the girl to come for a drink. She came with her 5 friends. Fine. Became a cap canto, like sardine. I am anyway. I need pay. But I'm saying this to say that in Nigeria it's both ways. I'm impressed. I must say I'm impressed with your relationship and with the way you have been able to communicate with your, because people think that communicating is conversation. No, it is communion of minds, minds communing, talking deeply, and most people don't communicate. I've seen men borrow money. I have friends that are married that borrow money
just to make sure it doesn't look like they're lacking.
And their wives have no idea, and it's crazy. It's.
I think that's often so much because I think sometimes the way you start,
you
have to maintain it.
You have to maintain it.
So you create this thing. If we believe that yes, money is what will get me a woman, and that's what you're spending, you have to sustain it because you can't then later say, "Oh, I'm changing," because you ran out of the money because you weren't thinking wisely.
Yeah, and then they say we buy things we don't need to impress people we don't care about or they don't care or they don't care about us. We live a fake life. I know girls that have 7 Brazilian hair. They play World Cup in their house. There's Brazil, India.
I think there's also that pressure.
I like that. That's a good one.
And it's so like, see, there's pressure, man. Let's see, sorry, for example, I'm sorry. Some people, now I'm not saying if you can afford it, but some people are thinking about their wedding party and their marriage budget.
Yeah. That's now because the wedding must look like the sweetest
thing. I've started hiring clients, Peters, for pre-wedding video shoot. It's and then let me just put it out there and say that men have to be humble enough. Being a man is not about having ego and chest, and they have to be in touch with who they are at a certain level of their life. If they have God for me and a plan, hard work, business, it will grow. If you can't find a girl that can't stay with you, or can't grow with you,
I think sometimes that's the
problem. And see,
the thing is, it feels
wrong
as a official single.
Yes.
You are engaged. You are already found. You are married. You are found and .com'd.
Yeah.
As a single person, it's hard because I feel like in this generation, this age at the moment, especially if you're looking, because socioeconomic position affects people's thinking. If you're finding and you're now meeting girls that their fathers, the money is so complete and they get everything and anything they want. And I feel like these days, people seem to want to marry at their father's level. Like they want to continue. They don't want, because they can't imagine looking back. But you don't think about the fact that, 20 years ago when you were really young, your parents were also still growing what they had.
Yeah.
So there's now this pressure of, I need to be at some unsustainable level, which is why also there's probably a lot of corruption. Because people need to be at a level that is just not really achievable in such a short space of time. And something that's been ringing with me for a lot of this year is Habakkuk 2:2, where God told Habakkuk that he should write down the vision, make it plain, and those who see it will run with it. For the vision is an appointed time. The thing is about that is clarity in vision, having vision and understanding that people are attached to that vision. So we're not doing things. One, you have a vision that motivates your desire for money and the thing that you're using that money for. And that your vision, that when you write it down, other people can run with it. It means that there's importance in unity to achieve that vision. So therefore, we're not doing things for a selfish reason. We're doing things as a community. So I think we need to look at the identity, we need to understand the vision behind money, the values behind money, and the purpose of it, and make sure that we're not selfish about it. That's what I want to get to.
Thanks, man.
It's a wrap.